Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. My name is Yadira and today I want to talk about what are my 2023 luxury wish list items. I find that while I did not get everything on my 2022 wish list, by the way, I will link that video down below in case you're interested, I was still able to get a good chunk from that wish list. So I wanted to do this video again just to kind of also keep myself accountable, so whenever I go into these luxury stores next, I know what to get or I have an idea what it is that I want rather than just randomly cruising by and seeing what I find. If you are new, welcome. I hope you'll decide to subscribe before the end. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Let's go into what it is that I would like to get for 2023. So I'm going to start off with Chanel because last year I wanted to focus in Chanel, but I ended up getting nothing from Chanel. So I actually did go into the store a few times and I tried on some of their handbags, which was perfect because I didn't have the opportunity to do that in the prior years because of like lockdown and restrictions and all that good stuff. I was able to try a large classic flap, but they only had it in the smooth lambskin leather. And I really want my first classic flap, whether it is the large or possibly a medium. Because of the prices, I would say that I would want it to be in the caviar or that grain calfskin. That way it's a little bit less delicate but still very manageable. I know the lambskin you can easily rub off any of the scuff marks just with the oils of your hands, but still at the price point it makes me nervous to do the first purchase from Chanel as a lambskin. If you have a different experience, let me know what that is, but for now that's kind of where my heart is at. I want it to be caviar and I want it to be black and in the gold tone hardware. That apparently is a very popular combination, so whenever I did go into the store they did not have that. They did have a beautiful gray, and while I do think that gray would have worked fantastic with my lifestyle and my wardrobe in general, I did want it to be black first. So I do still have a large classic flap in my wish list. I don't know that I'll get it this year, but I would for sure would like to add at least one handbag from Chanel this year. 2023 is gonna be my year, at least I'm telling myself that. So if I'm not able to get a classic flap, I do really also like the Chanel 19, possibly in a small size. I have seen a lot of videos on the Chanel 19 and I do find that the small is actually bigger than the classic flap size small handbag. So possibly a small in the Chanel 19 or even a medium. But again, I think I would like this to either be in a black. I don't mind it being a black if I can only get one flap bag style from Chanel, whether it be the Chanel 19 or a classic flap. I do want it to be black, or I do like the way the Chanel 19 looks in their gray tones. But if they do bring them out in some nice variations, possibly maybe like a red or like an emerald or some jewel tone kind of color, I think would be nice in the Chanel 19 as well. But we'll just have to see what colors Chanel releases for 2023. Or I don't know Chanel terminology. I know there's like P and S and I have no idea, but I will learn as soon as I get into the Chanel game. For now, those are the two handbags that I do have in my wish list from Chanel. Last year I did have a little bit more, but for now I'm just going to stick with these two. I do also like the Coco handle, but either the Chanel 19 or the classic flap. That's where I'm at right now. And I do also like the mini, but for the price point, a few weeks more of saving, you have the bigger bag, which is the larger ticket item. So I'm going to try to stay focused when it comes to Chanel for 2023. Moving on to Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is without a doubt the fashion house that I personally have the most from. I do love the wide range handbag options that Louis Vuitton offers compared to any other fashion house. Like if they have it in canvas, they probably have it in a leather version, so that's just even more to add into the mix. And they do handbags quite well in my opinion, and I just generally like more of the styles Louis Vuitton offers. So from Louis Vuitton, I really would love to add the Alma PM and the Damier Ebene. This handbag is perfect for me. I feel like I don't really like small bags, so I know that the BB is very popular, but for me that PM size seems to be that good comfort level. In some years back they did have it in the MM size, which I think is just equally gorgeous. Still too big for my personal likings whenever it comes to a top handle. Now I do have the on the go, which I think would be comparable in size to the Alma MM, but still not only do they not make the Alma MM anymore in store, I think that the Alma PM is just perfect for my stature as well. And while it doesn't come with a strap, I do already have some straps, like the one that I bought for my pochette accessoires in the Damira bin, as well as I have a Trevi PM that has a strap, which I think will be perfectly paired with the Alma PM. And then I also do have the Speedy bandolier in the Damira bin, so that chocolate brown leather strap would match just perfectly with my Alma PM if I ever do want to make it crossbody. The Alma PM by Louis Vuitton would be the first handbag in my Louis Vuitton wish list. The next handbag in my Louis Vuitton wish list is the Petite Noe in the monogram. This handbag I think is very timeless. It has a silhouette that is both classic, sporty, and edgy all together in my personal opinion, but the only thing about it is that base that has a lot of natural vachetta. But at the same time, I've seen images of the Noe range whenever they're much older, and I love the way the handbag looks. So I think I have to get past the fact that the whole bottom is natural vachetta, and I have made a video before of how I think that you shouldn't be scared of natural vachetta, but that's primarily whenever it comes to the top and the decorative accents that the handbag might have, not so much when the whole base or how you have to place the bag down, either on the ground, on a table, on your lap, on a chair, on your seat, or on your dresser, you know, or even on top of your counter where there could be a little bit of water and you just not notice it at the time that you sit it down. So that's kind of where I'm at with having that full base being untreated leather. But at the same time, like I've mentioned, I think it looks very gorgeous as it ages. So I think that this might be a handbag that I'll add for 2023. The next handbag that I have in my wish list by Louis Vuitton happens to be the Neverfull in the PM size. So I would like this to be in the Damier Azur. I know they're making less and less items from the Azur line. I only have one other piece in the Damier Azur line in my collection, and I really do love it. So I would look into a second piece. I think that the Neverfull in the PM size would be perfect, just because it's not gonna hit too low to where I'm constantly rubbing it with my denim. I'm a denim girl, so a Neverfull in the MM size might be a little bit too big and hard to control any friction or color transfer that just might come from daily use. So I think the PM size would be perfect. I know there's not much of a price difference between the PM and the MM, but on the second thought, I already have two other Neverfulls in the MM size. One happens to be Damira bin and the other one is a monogram. So really and truly, I cannot replicate having either the Damira bin or the monogram in the PM size. By going the PM route, I'm not really replicating the handbag. The size between the PM and the MM are significantly different in my opinion, to where it is another bag. So because I already have the monogram in the Damira bin in the Neverfull style, the only other option I have is the Azur. So I think this is a perfect combination of having it in the PM size and in being in that canvas selection, especially because I don't know how much longer the Damir Azur line is going to be around for Louis Vuitton. So the next handbag is also a classic by Louis Vuitton. This is the Speedy in the 25 size. I currently have a Speedy in the Damir bin, so this one I'm either looking for it to be in the Azur or in the monogram. I think the monogram is kind of convincing me a little bit more, but at the same time, I don't have another bigger item in the Azur, just like I just mentioned with the Neverfull PM. So getting a Speedy in the 25 size in that Azur would be perfect, just because the color is so bright that it's gonna look like a 30, I think. Or if they don't have that available, getting it in the monogram is classic for the Speedy on its own. So I don't think that the monogram is a bad option either. And I would be aiming to getting the Speedy 25 in a classic style versus on the bandolier. The Speedy that I currently have is bandolier, and I don't really find myself using the strap. I think would just be better for me to get it in the classic style, already knowing I don't use that strap as much. So if you in your collection have the monogram or the Damir Azur Speedy in either size, let me know what your experience is and whether you like it or not. The next handbag that I have in my wish list by Louis Vuitton is a higher ticket item for Louis Vuitton on its own, but it is a range that I do feel that Louis Vuitton is striving to keep as classic and permanent for many years, and I'm talking about the Capucines. So the Capucine size that I think would be perfect for me would be in the MM size. I do know that the BB size is not too small, so that might work. Now the mini is just too small for my personal likings, and plus it's over $6,000, close to $7,000 for the mini size. So I think I'd rather just opt for the MM altogether, and I would really like it in either a black, a red, or possibly a pink. I like those three colors, but we'll see, because they do make a lot of fun variations and a lot of pops of colors with different chains and different accent hardware and whatnot. So I would have to stay tuned to see what it is that they'll release later on in the year, or just see which one catches my eye throughout the year. I know those were a lot of handbags by Louis Vuitton in my wish list for 2023, but of all of them that I mentioned, I would at least want to get 2 out of the 5 just to kind of kickstart and get those off my list, because I know last year some of these were already on my list then and I wasn't able to acquire. Last year was actually a big shoe year for me. I have no idea why. I did not intend it to be like that whatsoever. If you are interested to see what are my luxury purchases for 2022, I do have a video linked down below just in case you want to watch it. This year I really do want to stick to getting more handbags, so we'll just see how that cookie crumbles for 2023. And next I do want to talk about a luxury watch. So most of the time I just have my Apple Watch with me, and that's pretty much the watch that I wear every single day. So in the last couple of years I've kind of hesitated to add a luxury watch into my collection, just because I know that I use this one every single day and I really count on it to give me like my steps and my activity all together, and I really do love it for that reason. I think that's why I wear it every day. But I do want to add a luxury watch to my collection, and that is by Cartier. This is the Tank Must. I think that I would like it in the large size or the extra large size. At first I thought that I would want it in the small, just because I do have a small wrist. I thought that the small would look good. I did recently try them out, and out of the two I really do like the large size. I just have to get comfortable with having a timepiece of that size. Now I can argue that this is already comparable to the large size in itself, and it works just fine for me and my wrist. So that's why I'm kind of more so leaning on the large, despite all the research I've done on the small size. So I think that this is the one that I would like to add into my collection for 2023. And similar to last year that I was not able to hit that goal, but I do want a David Yurman Cable Classic bracelet still, possibly either in the black or that blue topaz or the amethyst. But I also do think that the pearl one is equally pretty. So I don't know if I'll get to add it this year. Hopefully so, since last year I wasn't able to. And new to my wish list for 2023 is Van Cleef and Arpels. I really do like the Alhambra and the sweet size. I think possibly adding a necklace into my collection, maybe either the gold with the mother of pearl or even the rose gold altogether. I don't really have a lot of rose gold in my collection, so I think going the rose gold route might be better for me. Also, I do like more dainty jewelry, especially whenever it comes to necklaces. Getting it in the bigger vintage Alhambra size might be just too big. I'll have to go in store and try them out just to see which one I'm more comfortable with. But for now, by the looks of it, I think I would like the sweet in either of those two combinations that I mentioned, and then eventually possibly either the matching earrings that go along with whichever one that I do opt for, and maybe even a bracelet. But for now I do have the necklace in my wish list. Those are all the items that I have in my wish list. I really did try to condense it down from last year's list, just because I thought that that was a lot of items, and while some of those are in my wish list forever and ever, I did want to make the 2023 wish list a little bit more realistic and more narrow focused down to what it is that I really do want from these brands. So if any of these are also on your wish list, let me know what those are, or if you have new ones, also let me know what those are too, as they could be items that I'm probably not looking at the moment, but could be very comparable and possibly in a future wish list video for me. If you've made it this far, I hope that you'll decide to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.